approximation method to determine the brightness of the firmament, and his approximation method was proven.
We want to know what it says.
Oh, you had to interrupt me, dude. So
yeah,
I just quoted
you've said that 3 times, Witch.
Right, I'm quoting it like verbatim, Gamma Panda.
But we want to know what it actually says, not what some flat earther has translated it to say.
I'm not translating anything. That's what it says verbatim.
Okay, well...
Okay, so what?
You can post it.
We want to see it, not just hear it from you.
Well, ask your buddy who says he's already read it to give it to you. I've given this room. I've given this room over.
Let's move on to the next question.
Okay, listen. I've given this room over 1,000 citations. Every single time. Why are you cutting me off? Every single time I bring up something and I reference a document, y'all say that it just was made up. I go get it, and then you don't read it, you don't respond, you don't. Dude, you always have to.
You haven't got it. You're refusing to go and get it, like you usually do.
No, I don't usually do that. It's all
very
documented.
often.
Yeah, you actually usually do.
No, dude, I just know that you guys won't even be honest when I go get it because I've provided thousands of citations.
So you're refusing to go get it. Got it.
Yes, that's correct. That's correct. I'm not going to
What's
get
actually
it.
going on is you're frightened that we'll pull it to bits and then you won't be able to use it anymore.
Okay, anyway, so
That's what you're worried about.
Have you ever read it?
What's the height?
Never even heard of it before.
Okay, so it seems like you probably are just speaking out of ignorance per usual, huh? So let's move on from the guy who literally knows nothing about what he's arguing about.
I don't need to read the document to be able to assess.
To be able to talk about it.
I'm not talking about the document. I'm talking about your reluctance to produce.
Yeah, we're talking about how you shut down conversations like this, Jim, all the time with no evidence. You're just spouting off nonsense.
Exactly. I come in and Jim is just all high rant for no reason.
Either produce the document or accept that my assertion that you are reluctant to produce the document is true.
Hey, that's a non sequitur to the fact that the document exists. So my reluctance to stop interrupting me. We know that you don't have juice in real life, so you try to act tough on the internet. I was talking.
Nobody is saying the document doesn't exist.
Okay, so then you're saying I'm misquoting it, but you've never even seen it.
I'm saying that there is probably a mistranslation going on or an out of context citation.
What a cool story. So we'll move on.
I would like to look. What you guys claim all the time is you don't just believe what you're told, and yet you're insisting we just believe what we're told.
No, I insist that you go research it and find it just like we all do.
Right, and I'm trying to do that. And
no, you're not. You're lying. No, you're too busy lying.
On your VC, Jim.
That's why
talking about things we've researched, and you're shutting it down.
That's why I keep asking.
You had to mute him, of course. Yeah.
Yes, because he keeps interrupting to say.
No, it's because you're a gamma, and because you want to paint the conversation to represent something that's not happening.
The reason I keep asking you to post it is
so you can divert away from the substantive point made by it.
The reason I keep asking you to post it
is to divert away.
Right. I'm gonna say this again. When I find you in the list, I'm gonna mute you, you fucking idiot. Shut the fuck up. The reason I keep asking you to post it is so that I can research it. I'm not trying to avoid researching it, but you aren't giving me a lot to go on. You're just parroting some lines from it, and from that, I'm supposed to find this document and then figure something out from it.
Dude, all you have to do is type in this. Type in Russian, then type in. Hey, thank you.
Right, we've now got the document.
Yay! Now you shut up and go read it before you speak about it from now on.
If I could do this shit on my goddamn phone,
and your reluctance to produce it.
Okay, I know you're overly obsessed with me personally. We get it. You're a gamma.
Can I say something real quick?
I was just pointing out why I.
No, you're just diverting away from the substantive point made by the invoking of the document by trying to divert away to some type of complaining about reluctance to provide it. I provided it in this room over 20 times already.
You didn't provide it. You refused to provide it.
Today, I'm not providing it because I've provided.
You didn't provide it. You refused to provide it. That is what I was talking about. I did not talk about the document. I talked about your reluctance to produce it. You are scared. Scared we might pull it apart.
It's there now, so pull it apart, Jim.
Wow,
If you
you
can.
just always got to mute me so you can just like
So
make
I
up some
can
story.
finish and not have you talking over me.
You just cut me off again, though.
Yes,
You're cutting me
did.
off right now. Yeah, every time. You cut me off every time.
So
Because you're a gamma. So shut up.
When are you guys gonna
fuck
pull
with.
it apart?
Yeah, it never.
Let me go ahead.
They don't even know how to read, dude. They're literally
Well-
like remedial children that just whine about me personally. So anyway, let's move on.
Fuck
The Earth
it.
is provably
And-
contained.
Right. Well, this is.
And while you're-
text of this anyway.
What is this paper
So
actually?
he
mean?
hasn't.
Have you
posted
actually
it.
looked at it with?
I'm trying to
Yes.
mention
I've
something.
got the full text of it, Jim.
All right. Now
it
we
was
are.
in-
Oh
it
my
was in the
God!
one
You
that-
bring this.
I think
It
y'all
was in
accidentally
the
cut off
link
Eli,
within
so we're gonna
Revelation
shut this guy up
64
and let Eli
posted
finish.
From ResearchGate.
Shut up.
It may be the fact I get a pass because I get past a lot of paywalls because I'm signed up.
ResearchGate's not where the original document is anyway.
So
You
it could be
that
that,
mill.
so I can download it and post it into chat if it has been blocked by a paywall.
Okay, how about you read it? How about you do that part?
In the
Jim.
meantime,
No.
okay. In the meantime, I specifically remember Scott Veach telling me that Paul Larson, the planetarium director who did the Eratosthenes presentation, I expressly remember him telling me that that dude is a flat earther and he actually has a ticket to Mars for whenever they're gonna do that. And so seeing as that he's a globe earther who's crunched the numbers, what he said out of his mouth is that you can't see the curvature from the ISS. So they're lying because they use fisheye lenses.
Oh, but it's just
And that's
it's just
exactly
a
what the dude from the debate said last night too. So are you guys gonna fess up?
I think that guy's completely incorrect.
Oh, so the
How
people that
How high is the ISS?
I think
How
his
high
argument was silly. I think he wasn't.
Oh, why
thinking-
you watch my debates if I'm so
I think.
stupid?
I
Dude?
think. What? I'm not talking about you.
Well, we're talking about a debate I had last night.
No, we're talking about what. Who is it? Is it Elijah? Just.
Oh yeah, you think that? Yeah, he was talking about that, and that same guy admitted it in the debate last night.
He
A
was
pilot
talking
out
about.
debated.
He was talking about.
Why are
the
you
direct-
always interrupting though?
Because you are completely incorrect. We're not talking about you. He was talking about the director of some planetarium who's got a ticket to Mars. Did you miss all that?
missed the finishing statement that he made. Clearly, because you're an idiot. So what?
I wasn't referring to that, was I? Idiot.
The debate last night admitted that. So are y'all going to admit it? That was his question.
Calm yourself.
Admitted what? Who admitted what?
That you can actually observe curvature from 252 miles up in the supposed ISS location,
and who says
that why are you interrupting again? And that the lens is actually the wide angle lens actually imposes curvature. So that's what your side says, dude.
Well, who said? Well, there is no my side.
Yeah, there is.
Listen. There are individuals, okay? Most individuals believe the Earth's a globe. There isn't my side. If someone who believes the Earth's a globe has said something, that does not mean I automatically agree with it.
It's your side of the argument.
However, so who is this that said this in the debate? Who were you with in the debate?
Paul Camish, some pilot that thinks the Earth defies physics and is a ball in a vacuum.
Well, if he says that you can't see curvature from the ISS, he's incorrect.
Oh, so are the people that helped engineer it? You just make stuff up, dude. All you ever do is make stuff up, dude. Do you not think that people can see through it?
All I've said is one person is incorrect.
Look how mad you
Where
are.
in that have I made stuff up?
Someone's spiraling.
Yes, because you're making stuff up.
I'm just exposing you.
You've just made up that I make stuff up. All I've said is one person is incorrect. Now, the people that you've suddenly injected into the conversation assumed my response to it, and you're now responding to my assumed response. Who the fuck are you talking about? The people who designed it. Which fucking people, and what did they say?
Okay, so the top proponents on your side of the argument that have first-hand experience making parts,
Name
etc.
people. Give
I
some
don't know
names.
why it is that you think you can interrupt me, but
Which? Because I've asked you the which people. You're telling me some story. Which people? Name these people.
Okay. So Eli just named one of the people that's a top
so who are
proponent
the
of
other
your side.
people? Because you said there's some other
Dude,
people.
okay, I'll be
You
happy.
said the people who designed the
Okay.
ISS. You said.
I'll be happy to give your little heroes.
Okay, so which people
Dude,
who
why do
designed
you
the
keep
ISS?
interrupting me?
Because you aren't answering me.
You are such a gamma dude.
The question is, the people who designed the ISS, I believe that is the statement that you made. Who are they? What did they say on this issue?
Okay, so NASA admits via their claim of dimensions and their gravitational orbit trajectory that you don't see curvature from the ISS, you moron.
Okay, where do they do this?
I'll go get the link for you. I'll compile all of them for you so you can ignore all of them and then just keep on whining and
One
screaming
will
like
do.
a child.
One
Like
will
a petulant little child. So can we move on now?
No!
You
need to find something to back up what
I'm
you
not
just said. Of course we can't move on. Go and get it.
No. So are you saying that you
Right,
do see curvature? Or wait, to clarify, are you saying that you do see curvature from the ISS?
Yes, of course.
Okay.
Let me
So
idiotic.
what? How so? How do you know that? What's the mathematical?
How do you mean how so?
How do you know that?
Well,
Where'd you get that idea from?
Because for one thing, there's a study where a guy interviewed dozens of people who had flown at high altitude, and he had people seeing curvature as low as 17,000 feet.
So you're still not talking about the ISS. I debated a pilot last night that's flown for 20 years.
I'm going to finish what I was saying. He had people seeing curvature as low as 17,000 feet. He had people who had flown on Concorde. Most people said that they could barely see curvature at 50,000 feet. But they could all see it easily at 60,000 feet. So any height above that, you're going to be able to see curvature. That's why I'm basing what I'm saying about the ISS on. Studied evidence from a lot of people that have flown at that height and their accounts of what they could see.
Okay. Guaranteed he's going to interrupt me, everybody. Watch. Because I'm about to expose
I finished reading that paper by
I'm
Vladimir
talking there, bud.
And it's not about a physical
So
phenomenon whatsoever.
anyway, we're going to ignore
criteria and
this,
the
dude.
scattering
That's
of
it.
light.
Wow, you're trying to save him.
Please let him respond. Go ahead, WITSIT.
Okay, so you said something about seeing curvature at 17,000 feet. I debated a pilot for over 20 years. Last night, I asked him, have you ever seen the Earth's curvature while flying a plane? He said, no, I used to work at a private airport. I know over 200 pilots on a first-name basis. I said, have you ever had to account for curvature? He said, no. I said, have you ever had to account for movement or so-called Coriolis? He said, no. So that's much higher than 17,000 feet. Of course, I was on a commercial flight the other day, 35,000 feet. You don't see curvature, you're making stuff up. You twos go about 70,000 feet, Concorde around 60,000. I'm still talking. So around 60,000 feet, you don't see the curvature, admittedly, from the top opponents from your side. But the funny part is that you're actually supposed to explain to me how it is that you know that you see curvature on the ISS, and then you started bringing up flights from 17,000 feet, which we all know you don't see any curvature from there, admittedly, by anyone who's ever actually been in a plane or a cockpit or flown one.
Well, as I pointed out, the reason I said that, perfectly sound reasoning. I don't know why you don't get it. If you can see curvature if you can barely see it at 50,000 feet, you can very definitely see it at 60,000 feet. You can certainly see it from the ISS.
You can't see it from 50,000 feet, though.
Are you proposing that you can see it at 60,000 feet and then somehow you stop being able to see it again as you get higher?
Well, we all know I'm not proposing that stupidity. So first you shut up. First you said 17,000.
No, I haven't finished
First you said 17,000. First you said 17,000. You're jumping all over.
I haven't finished responding. I haven't finished responding.
Try to save it.
So I haven't finished responding. So I did say 17,000 feet. That was the lowest that somebody reported it at. So what I think is, in the case of your pilot who says he couldn't see it, well, that may very well be the case. I think that the possibilities for anyone to be able to see this are going to be limited. They're going to need a good clear view of the horizon. There's going to need to be no clouds in the way. It's quite possible that a pilot could fly for years and years and never really have a good opportunity to see it, or when that opportunity arises, not really spot it. And that's why I think you've had this sort of fairly anomalous result that someone reported seeing it at 17,000 feet. The important thing is Concorde passengers and fighter jet pilots who fly at these much higher levels definitely do report seeing it over and over again. They take photographs of it. It's on video. So to deny that somehow it's not visible from the ISS is ridiculous. And anyone who's saying that is incorrect, regardless of what they think about the shape of the Earth. I've finished.
Wow, so Gamma Panda knows more than Neil deGrasse Tyson, who is the main propped up scientist.
Yes, he's completely wrong.
You're already interrupting me. After you muted me to monologue about remedial babbling nonsense.
But yes, he is completely incorrect.
Shut up. I'm talking now. Okay. So first you said 17,000 feet. Then you tried to walk it back to Concorde and all the stuff that you haven't verified. You're just making stuff up. I've personally talked to numerous pilots.
Again, I'm not making stuff up. There's an article on this where somebody interviewed hundreds of people, or at least dozens of people, who flew at this altitude. I am not making stuff up. You are making stuff up when you say I'm making stuff up.
Okay, so you're just going to keep muting me because you're scared to get exposed.
That's
so
the last
I'm going
one.
to just...
Don't say I'm making stuff up.
No, it's not.
Look, okay, I'll post the article, and then
It's
you'll
not
stop saying I'm
Are you going to shut up now?
If you stop lying.
Do you think anyone here wants to hear you talk right now? Anyone?
All you have to do is respond to what I've said.
This is your server. There's 60 people in here. None of them want to hear you talk right now.
You don't have to say
because you just sound like an idiot. Okay, so can I talk now?
Go ahead.
Okay, so anyway, we all know for a fact that you can impose curvature with certain type of lenses, wide-angle lenses, fisheye lenses. They actually used that on the 128,000-foot jump by Felix Baumgartner. It was literally sponsored by GoPro. Admittedly, so you don't actually see curvature. It was imposed curvature from the lens. That's at 128,000 feet. 4 times a commercial flight, twice a Concorde flight. And then 252 miles up is an unverifiable pseudoscientific claim from the authoritarian position of the government that you just blindly believe. That means nothing to me. I asked you, can you verify that you can see the curvature from there? Because the top opponents from your side say that you cannot, including Neil deGrasse Tyson. Yet you seem to know more than them. They're all wrong, but we're stupid for not believing them in the same breath. It's actually laughable. You cannot see the curvature from 17,000 feet. I've personally been in a cockpit much higher than that. So please try again. Would you like to at least admit that you can impose curvature with lenses?
What's the black stuff?
So what?
So can you impose curvature with lenses?
What, do you think I'm denying that there are fisheye lenses?
Does GoPro make an imposed curvature?
Yes.
Okay.
No, stop. No. It does not make an imposed curvature. It will, any lens will distort the image.
Okay.
I'm not going to go any further than that.
Okay.
Usually what that means is it makes something straight look curved at the extremities of the field of view.
Oh, it makes something look curved, but it doesn't impose curvature. What a clown show. So GoPros objectively impose curvature. So did they use a GoPro lens on the Felix Baumgartner jump, yes or no?
Because I made that distinction because that needed a full explanation, not just your crappy phrase that you bandied about of imposed curvature, as if that's some official term of something.
Okay,
so
I said mathematically and actually simulated. Why are you interrupting me, bro?
Because
I didn't even start speaking.
Because I haven't finished my point, which was this is not.
You do not have any juice in the real world, huh?
This has nothing to do with lenses. Like I say, I've got an article here where a guy has interviewed dozens of people, and he talks about their visual impressions.
We don't care. We don't care.
Well, you should care because
you're appealing to anecdotal, subjective testimony like a clown.
No, it's not anecdotal.
You interrupted Eli, who's 100 times cooler and smarter than you.
You're interrupting me, and you should care because these people aren't using lenses and they're seeing the curvature of the Earth. So pretending that this is all just the effect of some lens is ridiculous.
You know what that's called? That's called folie à deux. You know, when there are 2 or more people who share. Folie à deux, which is a disorder where people share in a delusion.
Except it's recorded on video and
Hey,
photographs.
Gamma, can you answer
So I
my
think
questions
the
point blank?
delusion
Can you
is
answer
You just said with your own eyes, not with lenses, right? You said people have
Right.
seen it with their own eyes. That's what
Right,
I was
but-
responding to.
Right, but I'm not
Hey,
just gonna
Gamma Panda.
look.
Gamma
I'm not
Panda.
gonna play your game of just considering evidence that was taken through a lens and ignoring these people, and then when I say the people, ignoring the lenses. We need to take both of those things into consideration, and you cannot say, "Oh, it's just a delusion," if it's recorded on video and photographs. And you can't say the video and photographs are just an effect of the lens if people are able to see it.
Okay.
That's my point.
Oh, but I've been up there.
Well,
and I didn't see it.
let me. Well, okay, Jim Panda. I guess that's fair. But number one, the hostile witness claims that they're using wide-angle lens, which specifically curves horizontal lines. That's point number one. I have one more point. The second point is, mathematically speaking, and simulated-wise, at that height, based on your field of view, you wouldn't see left to right curvature. So I don't know what the argument is.
Well,
You're just
because
making
that's
stuff
it,
up?
because you can't say that.
At what height?
Because you don't.
Somebody claimed that you can
Hang on.
see it.
Hang on. You can't say that because you're making a very definite statement as if there's only one image that we're talking about. There are obviously, hang on, there are hundreds and hundreds of images taken with different cameras, with different fields of view. So you can't
Which
just
one
say
doesn't impose curvature?
Your field of view wouldn't be great enough for you to see curvature.
Can you answer point blank
You don't even know
questions,
what the
dude?
field of view is.
Hey, watch, Jim. Everyone's going to see how dishonest you are right here, okay? So they used a GoPro lens on the Felix Baumgartner jump from 128,000 feet. They
For what?
sponsored the jump. You already admitted that. I then said, does GoPro impose curvature? You semantically diverted, but admitted that it does. So whenever they showed you a picture or an image of a curved earth at the Felix Baumgartner jump, it wasn't the actual depiction or representation of any curvature of the earth, right?
No, not right.
Okay, so you're just an idiot because GoPro lenses
Okay, well,
admittedly on their
before
own
we- okay,
website
well-
impose curvature, you clown.
Well, before we decide that I'm an idiot, what calculations have you made to determine that? Because hold
GoPro
on,
admits on their
hold
own
on,
website
hold
they
on.
impose curvature.
Yeah, but imposed curvature is not the same as all of the curvature in the Felix Baumgartner jump is only due to the
I
curvature
didn't say
of the
that. I
lens
didn't
and
say
is
that.
not
I didn't say
curvature of the
that.
earth.
I said
Right,
if
but-
it imposes
but that is
curvature,
what
do
you're
you
trying to
agree?
argue.
If it imposes curvature, do you agree that wasn't an accurate depiction of what the earth actually looked like?
Well, that is not what you asked me.
Will you
asked
answer
me-
that question?
No, not until
Because you can't. You can't answer the question.
I can
Because you're a
answer
clown
that
show.
question, but you diverted from your original.
No, I didn't.
Yes, you did. Which
No, I
was,
didn't.
yeah, originally you were trying to claim that all of the curvature in those images is down to the lens.
Well, that's what Neil
Now-
deGrasse Tyson
now
said.
Now you've switched it.
Are
to,
you smarter than Neil deGrasse
now,
Tyson?
Now you switched it to.
Are
on
you
this
smarter
issue-
than him?
On this issue, yes, he is incorrect.
Okay, so okay, he's incorrect. So you agree that the 85% of the world that thinks he's a really smart scientific communicator for the pseudoscientific fairy tale that you believe in is all wrong and stupid for believing stupid people.
No,
And the very
I'm
people.
not making
Shut
any
up! I'm
point.
talking. I'm talking. The very people that own all the. I'm still talking.
No,
The very people that
no,
own all the
no,
media
no,
corporations
no,
and
no.
own
It's
all
all
higher
no.
academia have all
Keep
propped this
talking, but
guy
the
up,
answer's
but they're
still gonna
stupid.
be no.
Gamma Panda, I'm talking. So
Yeah, no.
higher academia and all corporations are owned by a small group of people. They've all propped this guy up and a few other selected people. These
Yeah,
are the people
well,
that
no.
wrote the very that wrote the very textbooks for higher education that you appeal to. But at the same time, we're not supposed to believe their
no.
judgment as to who they prop up to understand the very field that he is actually, isolated in constantly. So he specializes in this field, propped up by the people you think we're stupid for not believing. Yet we're supposed to simultaneously think he's stupid and don't believe him.
Paul Larson is
No.
also an educator, and you're
No is
also
my answer
denying
to
what he
that.
said.
All I said
But
was.
Paul. Okay, go ahead. Sorry.
No, you go ahead.
No. You were waiting. My bad.
All right. Well, all I said was that he was incorrect on this issue and not making any other comment about how clever he is on any other issue or how clever anyone else is who thinks he's clever.
So he's wrong on the very issue that he specializes in.
He doesn't specialize in where you can see the curvature of the
No, he
Earth from.
specializes in the nature of the Earth, pertinent and relative to the universe.
Well, can I say that
think he
Paul
does.
Larson?
That's what he claims.
Paul Larson not only is the planetarium director, who is a staunch Clover, but he also is an educator. And so, I
And
mean,
he's also
what about?
incorrect.
Okay.
He's not thought it through.
So then you agree that we should definitely not blindly believe people just because they have credentials and specialize in astrophysics and stuff about the heliocentric model, because even you on their side admit with no credentials or no specialization in the fields that they're wrong about pretty much everything.
I don't put these people on pedestals. You guys
Yeah, you do, because you constantly say everyone believes it, everyone knows it, everyone knows you're ball.
I've never ever once cited Neil deGrasse Tyson, and not only that, I've never heard anyone on this side of the argument cite Neil deGrasse Tyson.
But your side that you say, listen.
I hear you lot cite him every day, all day long. I don't. It's just another bloke.
Okay, man, but you have to listen to my point. You're skating past it, okay? So the very structure of where we got this story and where we were told this story, right? There's a certain group of people that have pushed this story and this depiction of the Earth, and this is just objective. 6 corporations own all the media, and higher academia tracks back to a handful of publishing companies. Now, who's behind them doesn't matter, okay? The point, I don't want to argue about who's behind them. No one cares. Just it's Kermit the Frog. It doesn't matter.
Nobody cares.
That is the structure. Can I please explain my point thoroughly, dude? That's the structure that's the structure of supposed authority that you guys appeal to, right? Because, well, we don't have to personally verify everything. They do this for a living. There are people that teach this. There are people that actually go to space. There are people that build satellites. So those are the people that we're supposed to believe, right? That's how we know the Earth's a ball, according to you guys. So the people that author the textbooks is the authoritative position, but when they pick someone to go communicate and convey the pseudoscience to us, you throw them under the bus, when in the real world, we come and press back against what they say. So it's a joke. You're making a contradictory worldview claim, and you don't even realize
Or
it.
appealing to authority you
I'm
don't
not
believe.
making-
May I make a secondary point?
Go on then. I won't remember any of what WITSIT just said if you do.
Well, it's really quick. All I'm saying is, most of the time when I read up on these people who actually are, fans of the story. I mean, and we've all been a fan at some point in our life. Like, the people that are really into this, they get upset because the mainstream media and the laymen actually twist what's actually being said. And so when people like Neil deGrasse Tyson and Paul Larson and whoever else try to come out and say, no, what we think is vastly different from what the public thinks and they're mistaken, it's because of the media. So that's what we're talking about. We're talking about the media and how the media perverts the information that's actually being put out there. And they don't even appreciate that.
Okay, well, I think
people in these fields,
he took a very US-centric view of things when he talks about all media being owned by 6 companies. That might
Well,
be
the US runs pretty much everything, man, so...
That might be true in America, but it's not true in
No. It leads the culture of the world.
How many times do you just let me speak?
No, because all professional sports are here. All music's here.
All right, we'll do it this way. All professional sport is not there. We have professional sport in every other country in the world, you fucking moron. What are you talking about?
And England has some of the best music in
thousands
the
of
world.
media companies in the world. There aren't just 6, and they're not all just owned by the same company. Or the same 6 companies. That's bullshit. It's just a standard American conspirator nonsense. And I do not hold these people up on pedestals. You guys do. I don't cite them. You guys do. So there's nothing contradictory in what I'm saying. I think they've been put on the spot with these flat earth arguments, and this is how flat earth arguments work. Most people don't know how to respond to them, including cosmologists and astrophysicists. So they don't.
Yeah,
that isn't what Neil deGrasse Tyson hasn't spent any time studying where you can see the curvature of the Earth from. He looks at stars and galaxies and that sort of stuff. It's not his
that's
field.
a fair assessment.
And we shouldn't expect him to know answers to these things. And if he arrogantly proclaims that he's got them, well, he's being arrogant and he's wrong.
Okay, dude. So please stop muting me, dude. It's getting really old. Listen, dude. I was going to thoroughly explain my position, and then what you did was you muted and strawmanned it for a fucking full minute, dude. It's ridiculous. Okay, so the point I was making is all of certain major professional sports like the NBA and the NFL, they're just specialized to the U.S. I'm just saying it has a huge impact culturally. Okay, because Hollywood is in the United States. That's where almost all of the most famous movies come from. Most of the mainstream media is actually following the cultural trends of the US. Now there are all kinds of differences all over the world. I'm not one of those people. I'm not one of those people that think the US is all that matters, all there is. I'm just saying it has a lot of power, bro. It has more military spending and funding than all the top 2 through 14 countries combined. So yeah, it's a big deal. It's very powerful.
You're talking about the professional sports that you're interested in as an American. And of course,
no, dude,
of course
stop
people,
isolating that part of it.
Of course, people follow bits of that over here, but we have our own professional sports that people are interested in. People, look at the people in India and how they follow.
I don't care.
Jem,
well, of course you don't, because you.
Subject. Come on.
That's not my point.
Well, your point is that because American sports are so popular, that they're influencing culture all over the world. I'll agree with you to some extent on Hollywood, but even that, we have our own film industry. There's Bollywood. There's all sorts of other things going on all over the world. And of course, people are less influenced by that form of media these days anyway, because people produce their own media and watch that. Go ahead.
Jem,
okay, can I please let me say this, man.
The Hulk. Do you know these things?
Okay, so look, man. My point is that America was vital in the mainstream pushing of the heliocentric model. The U.S. military is the first one that claimed to go to the moon and officially validate the Earth as a sphere. Okay, so it has, in the worldly terms of the heliocentric model, disproportionate amount of control and responsibility for pushing that cosmological view objectively, because they claim to go to the moon. So when we're talking about the heliocentric model, yes, America is very, very pivotal in the deception and the mainstream consensus that the Earth's a ball that defies physics. That's my primary issue. Would you like to actually address it now?
Yeah, well, I think that's that standard flat Earth nonsense narrative. No one was waiting for NASA to go to the moon to confirm that the Earth was spherical. No one was in any doubt about it whatsoever. It didn't require NASA going to the moon.
Was the United States responsible for...
They had no influence on the idea that the Earth was spherical at all whatsoever.
Was the United States...
It had already firmly been established in our culture for 2,000 years.
That's not true. So it wasn't even taught in the United States over a century ago. Well, there's over 3 or 4 people I could personally get on here that would tell you. Okay, so you're telling me that the elderly women that told me that in real life are lying because you're a little gamma that's probably way younger than them? Stop interrupting me. Stop interrupting me. Stop interrupting me.
You get interrupted every time you lie.
No, so you're saying that I don't know elderly women that said they were taught the Earth is flat. Is that what you're saying?
You may
so
well
you're a liar. You're the liar. So shut up. You're a liar. Shut up.
For sure, 1864 definitely was taught to be spherical.
1864? How do I know a lady from 1864? What are you talking about?
Hold on. But there's a distinction to be made here.
I'll tell you how you know, WITSIT. I will tell you how you know. Because a lot of modern flat Earth arguments come from 2 sources. They are Robotham and Carpenter.
I'm talking about an older lady that was taught this.
Let me finish.
Stop talking about things I'm not talking about, man.
I am talking about what you're talking about. You don't know what I'm talking about because you've only heard half of what I've got to fucking say, you fucking idiot. Right. These 2 people, Robotham and Carpenter, they generated many of the flat Earth arguments that we hear today, especially a lot of the ones that are in Debate's 200 Proofs. These people were famous because they were flat Earthers, internationally famous because they were flat Earthers, as was Ebenezer Breach. He's the guy that you talk about that was going to burn Sir John Gorst at the stake, the education minister. He was famous for being a flat earther in the 1860s, 1870s. I think he was maybe 1880, I think. But the point is, they could not have been famous for being flat earthers if everybody was just a flat earther until NASA proved it or until the idea was introduced in the 1930s or whatever. That clearly is not true. And that comes from your own evidence that you guys present all the time. I've finished.
Okay.
I did not say
No,
anything.
hold on,
Witsit.
No, hold on, Witsit, because I'm
No,
here
I'm getting
too, right?
muted and strawman for 2 minutes, and then I don't get to talk back, dude. It's ridiculous.
How in the hell?
Well, but I would just like to point out that there is there's a mad background noise going on right now.
Yeah, we are getting
I think
a lot of
Jen
echo.
is here.
Who's that? Is it Jen?
So I'm just saying there's a distinction to be made when you say that we believed it for over 2,000 years. Well, the thing is, there's a difference between what some minorities or what some we don't even know, to be honest, who believed what and what the numbers were. All we do know is that the world and how most people view it today isn't the same world and how they viewed it before. So, like, for instance, there was like Atlas who held up the geocentric globe. And so when you say people believed there was a globe for 2,000 years, there may have been some people who did believe in that idea, but it's definitely not what we believe today. There's a definite distinction. It's a different model. It's not based on direct knowledge. It's just based on philosophy.
Hey, can I respond, or do I need to leave?
Go ahead.
So Elijah,
Okay.
whenever you say that
All right,
people
peace out.
don't, okay.
Yeah, y'all are just little gamers. That's what you want to do. You want to make it where I just leave because you know dude, it's
Go
ridiculous.
ahead. I said go ahead.
Okay, let's see if I'm actually allowed to go ahead then. Okay, so actually what I was saying was it was still explained both cosmological interpretations as viable options in the early 1900s in the United States. This is easily verifiable, not debatable. Your opinion is irrelevant. So the point was they did not mention the possibility of the globe. They still taught the geocentric stationary plane model as a viable option of the depiction of a cosmological interpretation as early as or recent as the early 1900s. The reason these people were infamous was because supposedly Christopher Columbus utilized the Copernican model and then he discovered the Americas and proved the Earth was a ball because of his trajectory and his route. So then everyone thought, okay, the Earth is probably a ball. It started to shift around that time. That's going to do with 2,000 years ago because whoever said the Earth was a ball philosophically with the metaphysical ontological premise, it's the Greeks. They just were a minority. Okay, so then you fast forward to what I'm talking about. It was still taught as a viable option until supposedly we substantially dismissed the quote-unquote nonsense that is flat Earth by going to space literally and seeing the Earth ourselves. So yes, it was a pivotal supposed nail in the coffin of flat Earth. Okay, that's objective, and that's the first country that claimed to do it. And then both models were taught as viable options in the early 1900s. Stop straw manning me. It's laughable.
I don't know.
Addressing
You
your
seem
claim-
to
Okay, so you lied
hang on,
again.
hang on.
Geocentric globe was an alternative.
Hang on.
Geocentric
Right.
globe.
Yeah, exactly. You
No,
switched
geocentric
from
stationary plane.
geocentric-
I've talked to people in the real world who were taught both models as a young child in America.
Right.
You don't know what you're talking about.
Right, but
Geocentric globe.
No, a flat Earth, dude.
But geocentrism was never the idea that the Earth was flat. It just wasn't.
Geocentric stationary, yeah, because you don't even have to say geocentric, because if the Earth is flat and motionless, then it's obviously the center of everything.
No, the idea geocentrists.
Wow, you people
believed
are
the-
lost.
Geocentrists believed the Earth was
You have
spherical.
not done your
No,
research.
they didn't.
Yes, they did.
So all the ancient depictions of the Earth being geocentric thought the Earth was a ball.
We're not talking about.
Oh,
Hey,
you're wrong again. What a shocker, dude.
No, WITSIT,
You
stop.
trained-
You're
Hold on,
misunderstanding.
hold on,
You're
stop.
misunderstanding.
Hang on, stop. There are geocentrists who believe the Earth was flat. Okay, the ancients, maybe we don't know this from their cosmologies, but they possibly believed the Earth was flat. But geocentrists in the 1500s or whatever, they didn't think the Earth was flat. They believed it was spherical, and that the stars and the moon and sun and everything rotated around the Earth. That the Earth was the center of the universe, effectively. So that's what they believed. They didn't believe the Earth was flat, and assuming that they did is just nuts.
That's not true at all. You can't cite that at all. Cite someone from the 1500s where all the geocentrists were strictly spherical
How about
earthers. You
how about
just
a
make
tacit-
stuff up.
Wait,
But
wait,
here's
wait.
the truth. I'm still talking.
Show any that say it was flat, WITSIT. Show any.
All your dates mixed up because the truth is that Christopher Columbus. So maybe in the 1500s people started thinking the Earth was a ball because of the Christopher Columbus story, which I've already addressed. In fact, the world's brightest minds, like Nikola Tesla, was actually still considering the Earth being flat, but said that, well, it's probably
No, he
not flat
wasn't.
because I'm still talking. that it's probably not flat because of the Copernican model utilization whenever the Americas were discovered by Christopher Columbus. So this is a story that was taught to people starting around the 1500s that it had been substantially proven the Earth was a ball because of Christopher Columbus, which we know is now just a fairy tale that didn't even happen. There were people already here, and it's all bullshit. So the point is, yes, they started to make a shift around that time, and it was still not considered to be known until we went to the moon. In the 30s, Picard went up and said it looked like a bowl with upturned edges, and he had gone higher than any human ever. So then the U.S. military said they went up into space and proved the Earth was a ball. The fact that you want to lie about it means nothing.
Do you have any evidence for any of that? Do you have any evidence?
Which part exactly are you contending?
Well, I guess the best bit would be that we were relying on NASA, that it wasn't known that the Earth was spherical.
It wasn't known.
Until NASA went to the moon, and we were all waiting on that to confirm.
No. To be fair, most people thought the Earth was a ball before we supposedly went to the moon. Yeah, because I've already explained why.
At what point in history would you be able to say most people thought the Earth was, quote, a ball?
Like in the last century, and actually not most people in the world. Because if you account for the eastern side of the world, tons of people are still flat earthers, like the whole country of India.
So when it
The country
when
of
in
India
the
is
last
not full of
century,
flat earthers. Trust me.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is.
So when in the last century?
When in the last century? Oh, I'd say like around early 1900s. So, but people started thinking the Earth was a ball before that. So really, where it made a major shift would be in the 1500s.
Right, so in the 1500s, we could say that most people.
No. That's just when a major shift began.
We don't have statistics. We have. I don't even know if it's second. I don't know if it's secondary sources or. All I know is that I have sources from people today that say that people have believed that the Earth is a globe, but I don't ever remember them reporting on any statistics. They just claim it.
Just like he did. He just said that we've known the Earth was a ball for 2,000 years. That's not true. It was actually both models were taught as viable options in the early 1900s. This is provable.
Prove it.
Okay, so
the
here,
1900s crap again. That's geocentric globe. That's not geocentric flat Earth.
No, it's even in news articles in the early 1900s. Ancient maps were discovered, and it was published in the news. I will in a second, man. Like you don't get to interrupt me. Dude, listen. All right, I'm gonna get out of here. Y'all say, all right. Anyway, it's WITSIT gets it on YouTube. If you'd like to support, links in the description. Hey, links in the description. WITSIT gets it on YouTube. I'm gonna create. I'm gonna create a second backup because I'm being censored because whenever flat earthers are so stupid they just make stuff up that the dude, just let me finish.
Let him finish.
So flat earth is so stupid that the monopolistic company of YouTube owned by the father company Google had to actually kick me off for a stream from 7 weeks ago because flat earth is so stupid. So y'all can go to WITSIT Gets It 2.0. I'm gonna set up and D-Live also demonetized me because flat earthers are so stupid and we just talking about conspiracy. So if you would like to follow the Clown World Tour, you can sub to Be The Change, no spaces on YouTube, or WITSIT Gets It. I can go live again tomorrow until they start kicking me off for all streams again. Stay fly, whatever, dude. I did a debate last night. I'm almost done.
It's fine.
You want to let WITSIT finish? No.
It's fine. It's fine.
I did a debate last night on Modern Day Debate. I debated a pilot named Paul Kemish. If anyone wants to check that out, he admitted that you don't see courage from playing, which I know all 200 pilots in person. So anyway, y'all stay fly. Seek and speak truth unequivocally, unplugged from the system. The rebuilding Babylon. I'm almost done, dude. I'm almost done.
Please, just let him finish. Please.
Yeah, it'd already be over, bro. So like all I'm saying is, in conclusion, the rebuilding Babylon, it's time that we get more in tune with the nature of the actual Earth we live on, so we don't have to depend on them. They're trying to take away your sustainability. They don't care about you. They're trying to make all kinds of processed fake food be all we can get. All I'm saying is we need to wake up and come together and put our differences aside. Yah is real. His name's not God. Get right with the Creator. Much love. Peace out.